What's up, guys? I'm Fern, creator and executive producer of Survifern, an LRG that is part music festival and part reality TV show. What you're about to watch is a podcast that we did a few weeks before filming our second season. So you can get a behind-the-scenes look on how to create your own LRG, how to kind of build a bit of a community behind your game, and just where our head was at before the game started. So if you are looking to make your own LRG, or if you want to know a little bit more about Survifern, then this video is for you.
Welcome to the Asbury Park Vibes podcast. I'm here with Doug Dresher. My name is Diane DiMemmo. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Diane DiMemmo. We have a much different podcast than we would normally have.
We do.
Now, it's chock full of musicians.
Yes.
But they're not necessarily making music as much as...
It's part of the
It's like
deal.
a music thing.
Right.
So why don't you introduce our wonderful group, and maybe I'm confused beyond words.
Okay.
Perfect.
So.
This is perfect because we're going to clarify everything, not only for us, but for all of Asbury Park and beyond.
Yes.
So we are here with one of my favorite Asbury Park musicians, Matt Fernicola. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you very
Fern.
much for
And his
having
attorney.
me.
Fern.
And he's the only guy who's ever brought his own personal counsel to a
Personal
podcast.
counsel and crew, a whole crew. But if you've seen Foes of Fern, you always know he's surrounded by a crew.
And an attorney.
I can't do anything by myself, and I always have to protect myself.
Yes.
That's exactly right. So we are going to talk today about Survive Fern Fest.
Working title.
Working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Survive Fern is one of the many titles that we have for this.
And I like that it's a live, interactive Survivor experience.
Live, 52-hour, interactive Survivor experience.
So we're going to be talking about Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3, past, present, and future. But you brought some guests with you who are here at the table. Guys, can you introduce yourselves and how you're involved in this project?
Hi, everyone. My name is Will. I'm one of the producers. I was brought on super late into Season 1. Really got brought in by everyone, and it was a lot of love, and been planning Season 2 ever since Season 1 ended. So that's I have pretty much a hand in every single part of this.
And?
I'm Aziz. I go by Soul Food sometimes. And I met Fern through music and saw that he posted this weird thing called Survifern on the internet at some point. And I was on a mission to get out of my comfort zone. So I applied and became a player in Season 1. And we haven't looked back yet.
So they've talked about 3 seasons.
Yes.
1 season is already in the bag, as I understand.
Yes, let's talk about Season 1 and
can
what
you just... Well, even before seasons and players, what is this?
So I have a lot of marketing ideas. One is a live 52-hour interactive Survivor experience. Another one is Asbury Park's first reality TV show. Or if we want to be bold, Asbury Park's only reality TV show. And that's really the idea with it, is that we're trying to make a reality TV show now. Because, I'm in Asbury Park. I love it. There's a lot of poets. There's a lot of musicians. There's a lot of venues. There's a lot of everything. And I just realized the things that's been popping up more and more on Netflix, on Hulu, on your streaming devices are reality TV shows. I must have watched 7 new concepts in the past 2 or 3 years. And this place is dope. I like my friends here. And it looks like fun when I'm watching them just asleep on my couch. So why not try to run our own? That's what this town is. This town is, you want to be a podcaster? Do you want to be a musician? Do you want to be a poet? We'll let you do that. And that's the idea.
So you have a collective of musicians and poets and artists, but this isn't a dating show. This
Not
isn't
a dating show.
Find me a farm animal. No. What are they doing?
Okay, so basically, there's a lot of TV shows out there like Survivor and Big Brother and even The Amazing Race, which is very turn-based, and you're doing challenges, and then people get voted off, and at the end, there's one winner. The twist with our game is we like to encompass what makes the town what it is, so we're running challenges throughout Asbury Park. We ran one at the Asbury Lanes recently. We did a bowling competition. We did one on the boardwalk during the Mogul live stage. We did one during Park Fest recently. So we're doing challenges.
Now, let's take one example. You did a bowling challenge.
Yeah.
Now, is this just a straight ahead bowling, or do you blindfold them? Do you get them drunk? Do you spin them around?
The
Do they have to use their
preseason
left hand?
challenges have been simple.
Okay.
So preseason's just 10 pin, whoever got the highest score wins the advantage. That was a fun one because we let people like choose their champion to be a bowler. So the guy who won that challenge was Joe Palm, but he didn't even bowl. He like brought a ringer with him, and the guy like bowled like the best game for him. So Palm won that advantage.
So because of a loophole in the rules, he was allowed to have a substitute bowler use
It wasn't a loophole. That was the rule.
That was the rule.
For that specific challenge, yeah, I love Game of Thrones, and there's a thing in Game of Thrones called Trial by Combat, and you can pick your champion, so I just like that idea.
Okay.
So it's not just physical challenges, but it's also knowing how the rules are written and sort of a Kobayashi Maru Star Trek kind of test, right?
Whatever that means. Yeah. So we run challenges, and then after preseason ends, the game begins, and the idea is a 3-day long camping music festival while a reality TV show is being filmed. So it's live, it's interactive, and it's an experience.
Now, how's it interactive for me as the viewer?
So the thing that's different with us, obviously, if you ever watched Survivor, it's very isolated. It's just the players on the island, and the game runs on its own. So what's different with ours is, as the players are doing challenges and voting people off, there's a live audience the whole time. And so you can have your friends come and root for you, which is cool, but that can also impact your game. And in our season 1, that did play a part where certain people won a challenge and had this like huge crowd reaction, and then they go back to camp and they're saying, oh wow, that person got a lot of cheers. I wasn't anticipating that. Now all of a sudden they're looking at that person differently. Now, how does that affect their game, which is something
So
the real
it could
Survivor.
Influence, yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
And
Another
then the
element.
interactive part of that comes in where we might hide certain things throughout the party that the players don't have access to, but the party goers have. And last year, my voting pen that I made got stolen because someone thought it was a special item. And the party goers took that and tried to give it to someone that they liked. That's the interactive part, ultimately.
It's both beneficial and detrimental, because if you get handed this thing and you're told it's an idol, that's what happened last year. We had 4 contestants thinking they had this secret idol, and it was nothing. It had no power.
And people can watch this live on...
Sorry, we live streamed last year, so there was that capability. And we're going to live stream a little bit for season 2 also on our Instagram page. But the live part is you're coming to a music festival. In between the challenges and voting people out, we have live bands plays, acoustic acts and full bands as well. So you come in person and you watch it. Instead of watching the episode later, you can literally walk into a campsite, listen to the strategy that they're having, and then you can run back and tell the person that you want to win the strategy. So it's like...
Oh, so the audience can be like a shill.
Oh, yes. It's like a live world. It's like a open world. That's the thing I meant to say.
So do we bring our own chair for that?
You bring everything. You bring a blanket, bring a picnic basket. It's a BYOB party. There's a pool. You can go in the pool. We have a grill master. If you bring some hamburgers, he'll cook them for you. We have a bartender.
Go. We should do every time they use the word Fern, we take a shot.
You'll be dropped by the first minute.
And we're lucky enough right now to have someone that played the game last year. Like Will and I created the game, but Aziz actually played.
Aziz, tell us, now that you've done it, how are you a better human for the experience?
Oh my God.
He's back for more.
How are you a better human being? So we're all inclusive.
The social interactions that you go throughout the game will shape you moving forward for sure. There was a lot of interactions that I wouldn't have had outside of that game. I would have never talked to half of the people because we just wouldn't have crossed paths.
So is this something you'd bring a resume or a business card to as well?
No, just yourself. It was cool because I got to be myself, and that was enough for the game. I didn't watch much Survivor also going in, but I was able to...
I have to say probably to your betterment of your intelligence.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough way to go into the game, but it ended up working out, and I made friends that...
And you're still friends with them?
Yeah, to this day.
Why did you decide to do this? What
for
about
me,
it
I
intrigued
really
you?
wanted to get out my comfort zone. I don't feel like I push myself.
You couldn't take a yoga class? That would have been easier?
That would have been so far in my comfort zone.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But socially. So, I have had the same friends for most of my life. Since I want to say earlier than middle school, I've had, the same really close friends. And I wanted to start getting myself out there a little more and like opening up my friend circle.
So you could actually meet a spouse at such a thing if everyone was single.
Possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Not a
Anything's
dating
possible. It's not a dating app, but
Yeah, but you're having shared experiences with people that you didn't have a shared experience with, and now you've expanded your circle.
yes, yeah, and it's awesome. It's hard to explain to people who have never seen it. You
Shocking.
sound a little crazy.
Well, give us one
built
example.
character.
Yeah,
Tell us how it's built character for you.
how does that make
The
you into
challenges.
a taller
So
person?
tell us like a couple. We heard about the bowling. What are some other types of challenges that you did?
So we did the first challenge when we got there was really funny because it was just like us picking the teams. But it's 8 a.m, I want to say. We're all tired. They just took all of our stuff away from us. And we're sitting there like, okay, well, what's about to happen? Bunch of strangers. And they're like, go get in the pool, grab those rocks. Whatever rock you come up with, that's the team you're on. So we come up with our rocks and we...
And how many teams were there for?
2 teams.
Okay.
Yep, so we had yellow and green, which Ramrod strong.
The yellow and green love since is insane. Like they were like immediate. It was like a social experiment. It was like if you're yellow, we hate green. And if you're green, we hate yellow.
Like immediately. It was before we even knew names, we knew that we didn't like the people standing across the room.
That's right.
It was
really
hilarious. But the camaraderie, like it was awesome. It was just like
So
it
other
hasn't
than
broken.
picking a rock and having some randomness to who you were on a team with, give us an example of a challenge so that people could visualize what they're going to see when they get their comfy chair and their BYOB blanket ready.
So there was one that I feel like a lot of people really liked, us running back and forth with the sponges. They set up a bucket on one side full of water. They give us sponges and they give us red Solo cups. Mm-hmm. Your job is now to run to that bucket across the yard, fill up your sponge, run back, and fill up your cup with water. So you got to keep doing that. Winner of that gets to go and do puzzles. And then beyond that, it's ring toss, I think was the other one, right?
We did some ring toss. Yeah.
Yeah. So watching all of that, and then I'm a beer in, that was my breakfast, was a beer, running back.
A little bit like beer
forth.
Olympics.
How hot was it?
Had to be at least 80 degrees.
There
by
you go.
then. It was hot. Like, so you're watching a bunch of grown-ups doing this kind of activity. I cannot imagine what that looks like from the outside, and I can't wait to see it.
It sort of sounds a little like what they used to refer to as color wars in camp, that sort of thing.
Right now, that was season 1, and season 2 is going to be a little step above that. The goal is to eventually, the word and the phrase I want people to think is like Ninja Warrior. I would love to
There
have
you
the
go.
budget for that type of spectacle. But for right now, we're using with what we got.
So, Fern, that was season 1, and now you were just telling me about season 1 being on YouTube. Can people watch this?
Yep, I spent an entire year of my life editing season 1 into something that I think is watchable.
You did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate it. I even subtitled every single word that's been said. So, because the audio is a little janky, the video is a little janky, we didn't really have a great strategy going in. Got a better strategy next year. But yeah, so every word subtitled, and I worked really hard to make it enjoyable and watchable. And I had a lot of great help from my director of videography, Derek, Andrew from Mushroom World Comics, and everybody on production, Will, Aziz, Thomas, Lauren, Jack. They gave me a lot of good advice.
So, season 1 was like a catalyst for that could possibly be.
It opened my eyes to that, wow, people like to do fun things. And that's been my brand forever. It's been fun. I put on Wowie because Wowie is fun. I do Parkfest because Parkfest is fun. I do the Foes of Fern, and I have pole dancers and 5 backup singers and a horn section, and like that is fun. So I do Zeke Dental Jam because it's fun. And the most fun I've had and the most fun the community has had was surviving Fern Fest, was that first season.
If there were pole dancers, I probably would have made
We
a bigger
have
effort.
pole dancers at most Foes of Fern shows now. The venues.
Is that going to be one of the challenges?
Pole dancers.
I think the next time we have the pole dancers is our September 30th Porch Fest show.
Do you know?
There you go.
Now, if they had a competition of just hanging from the pole for 10 to 15 seconds, I would try out.
We had
for
a
this.
balance competition last year where it was like you have to balance the thing and raise your leg up, and then you got to do squats or whatever.
Who comes up with all of these? Now, Matt,
Not me.
Are you? Okay.
Not me.
Who
That
comes
is
up with all
like
the challenges?
Will over here has been like challenge coordinator, and he's
Okay.
worked with Jim Lenskold, who's done a lot, and Jack and John also helped this year.
Yeah,
with
so
challenges.
we all have different kind of skill sets. So Jim Lenskold, he's a member of our production, person, and I would call him our challenge builder, because like he's just like, hey, I got some ideas. I'm just gonna play around. I have some extra wood and some time at home, and then all of a sudden this amazing thing.
Are they
comes
all
out.
different this year?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay,
Every
so
challenge different.
no repeats.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then this year with challenges, because Fern really wanted to focus on the editing and putting out the best product for season 1, he kind of let me, John, and Jack, who are season 1 players and also on production this year, really kind of let us dig into the challenges and let us take a little point on it as to build, everything. Season 2 has to be bigger, right? If we have the sequel, it has to be more people, bigger budget, better production, bigger challenges, and I feel like that's what we did this year.
As it gets bigger, you have to give some of the pieces away and get help here. It sounds like it's already growing. That was season 1. We're getting ready for season 2, and it sounds like this is growing into something that, again, the CEO or the founder or whomever, however you're going to label yourself as the person who has created this, you need help. You can't do it all.
The goal would be just to walk on set for season 10. And I just walked on set. All right, thank you guys for running this game. I'm here to party. Let's go. But yeah, that's how I move forward with my band, with the Foes of Fern. Like I give people that you can trust responsibility, because then they have more fun with it. Like everything goes back to the word fun. Like we're not doing this because it's not enjoyable. It needs to be enjoyable. So when I work with someone, I want them to know I'm working with you because I trust you. Now I am going to do my best to poke holes in everything you come up with. And Will and I are on the phone every day poking holes at each other. But it's because that's how you get the ship to float.
Yes.
Because if the ship is not going to float without testing to see where the holes go in.
And you say you're doing it for fun, but you're also doing it for the creativity. You're a very creative individual.
There's
and you
a
always
reward
need,
there.
you always need a project. I know you have a great amount of energy, so you need things to occupy all of that energy. And this is a huge undertaking.
Well, you have a full-time job selling stuff.
Yeah.
You have a full-time band that's got 900 different people who play with you. You're producing albums, you're mixing albums, you're making videos. When did you have time to decide that it was time to pull off the William Tell Apple on the Head challenge to do this?
I mean, I found the time for it, and which was getting home from all those things. Go to work, go to the gym, go to band practice, get home at 10 o'clock, edit till 4 a.m. and do it again. So you just I just see it. I just see this vision of a music festival and a reality show coming together, because so many people love reality TV. So many people love unique experiences. I am sick of going to the same thing over and over again. And I'm also, I don't know. I just don't believe in the word no, really. There's a lot of reasons to say no, but there's always one good reason to say yes. And there was one good reason for this to say yes. And here we are.
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun, man.
Now, is it 52 continuous hours?
Yes. It starts at 6 p.m. on Friday, and it ends at 10 to 11 p.m. on Sunday, and I didn't do the math. I just guessed.
So are there, do you wake up the competition at 4 in the morning and
8
say
a.m.
8 a.m.? Oh, so, all right. So there is some downtime between.
They get to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year we ran night challenges, though.
Yeah.
So in episode 5, there was a night challenge for season 1. You can look into it to see if the contestant was successful or not.
So, and then to piggyback on what you were saying, it was all about fun. We actually filmed our live reunion at Over the Moon Studios.
Oh, that's nice.
It was very lights, camera, action. We got every single cast member back. It was very Real Housewives. And the most important, and I had told Fern this earlier, the most important part for me is, we kind of hosted the reunion for the most part. And one of the last questions is, I asked all the players, I said, if you guys would do this again, right, this crazy thing that no one knew what they were doing. If you do it again, raise your hand. And every single player raised their hand. Okay. All 14 people. Wow. And that was the most important, because that showed me that what we set out to do, we were successful at.
Do we have any repeats from season 1 into season 2, or is this a new cast?
It's a new cast, and there were a lot of phone calls about if we should bring people back or not. But it is a complete new cast, 16 players. But a lot of our season 1 contestants will still be in the show. Aziz is going to do a performance. Sandy will do a performance.
Yeah, tell us about the bands. How do the bands, or when do they play, or how does that fit into the whole thing?
So it's in between each event. So there's Tribal Council, where you vote someone out. and there's a challenge. And in between those, we stick a music act in there. So we have players like Riley Shiro is going to do an acoustic set. Boots is going to do an acoustic set. Brian Erickson is doing something fun with the band. The Amorphous Blob Orchestra. Local Honeymoon, which is Jeff Linden's new project. They're playing.
Oh, nice.
Martin Houth, she's played at every Fern Fest along with Boots. Myself, the Foes of Fern. Lake Champagne is playing as well. So these are all just like local bands, and they'll do like a half-hour set as like we're getting ready for the challenge, as we're getting ready for Tribal Council.
And where exactly do you do this?
This is in my parents' backyard.
There you go.
So
God bless parents.
You couldn't just have like a little circus like when you were a kid you wanted. You have a whole thing. And so your parents,
yeah,
bless their souls.
bless their souls. Yes.
Don't mind if dozens
My dad
and
loves
dozens
it.
of people show up with blankets, beer, and
Last year
ready.
on Sunday, we probably had over 200 people watching this.
Your neighbors must love you.
They actually do love it because it's like once a year. You know, it's not like we do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Did your dad throw his name into the mix and ask to be a contestant on season 2?
My dad's not allowed to be a contestant.
What about could we do like an over 50 version of this?
Yeah, you want to produce it? Let's go.
I would produce it.
We need $25,000.
Okay.
Let's go.
Golden Survifern.
I know Jim would be in. No, but like I love that. Like, yes, I'm a very big yes energy. If you wanted to produce that with me, I would. There's just a lot of commitment to producing that.
Well, there'd be a lot of activities that require sitting.
That's fine.
That's
We always wanted a chess challenge in season 1. We
Let me
could bring
tell
the
you,
chess challenge
I
out.
thought Wii Bowling was like the greatest video game ever. I could sit in front of the TV
Oh,
and
really?
bowl. Oh, it was fantastic.
Bowling. Love the way.
Yeah.
So now, how did you put out the word for needing contestants for season 2? Where did they come
There's
from?
a lot of just like word of mouth on the street. We made a Google Doc, and then like I'm lucky that people like Aziz here were just champions of the game, going around asking their friends. One of your friends is playing this year, right?
Yep, Becky. She wanted to play even before.
How do you think
season
Becky's
1
going to
ended.
do?
She's gonna do.
I
great.
mean, I need a little inside track here so I know who I should pick.
I think Becky's gonna do great.
Okay.
Honestly.
Is she athletic?
Yeah.
Is she
smart?
Is she
athletic.
wily?
Um.
Wily, I think, is the trait that you really need. Is you got to be like
Yeah.
wily.
See, I think all the dynamics have a different advantage for the game. I think that's the cool part of the game is having so many different dynamics and like people with different personalities. Anybody could win.
That's true, because it doesn't sound like it's just the physical. It's a lot of
yeah.
strategy.
Less physical than you think.
Yeah, a lot of
Season
strategy.
1, if you watch, the physical players didn't do too great.
Okay, so it's a lot of. Yeah.
Oh, we should remember that when picking our teams.
Well, I mean, if the physical, isn't a big requirement, you and I would probably do okay.
There you go.
I'm good at
also-
useless trivia.
Yeah, well, you might win. Who knows?
Because physical is also twofold, because there's the physical challenge part where you're doing something strenuous, which is quote unquote physical. But then, and I think Aziz can attest to this, the game, just going through the game is physical.
Sure.
You know,
Well, 3 full days, sure. You're on the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know, like, towards the end, like, we had a few mental challenges, and they were just, like, bombing it because they were just so exhausted.
Yeah, for sure.
What would be an example of a mental challenge? Like writing like a self-improvement plan? Or...
Well, one of the challenges I came up with last year, it was memory block. So it was a 6-sided block, 6 by 6, and they had 6 different animals on each side: snake, rabbit, bear, whatever. So they each had the block. They put it on the ground, and then I would say a sequence: bear, rabbit, snake, bird, bird. And then they would pick up the block, and then I'd be like, what was the first animal in the sequence? And you had to show it. You got it right, you moved on. You got it wrong, you're out.
Someone got the first one wrong. That's how tired they were. And then in their confessionals, they were like, I got the first one wrong on purpose. Like, I wasn't going to get voted out. And you know what? That person got voted out immediately.
So there's also judges here that are going to give some, like if there's a dispute over an answer, there are judges who
if
are
you
going to
watch
make some
season
final
1,
decisions.
there's a lot of back and forth on that. The contestants were very unhappy with our judging. We'll leave it with that.
So what?
It was still
Okay.
fair.
I think it was as fair as it could be.
Yes.
I mean, you don't want to have a pickup softball game without an umpire because people be arguing at second base all the time.
Well, that's what
Sure.
happened.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened.
So now, season 2.
Yes.
Do you want to move on to our next
So we're going to bring in
Segment?
some new
to
spokespeople
talk
here?
about season 2?
Yeah, I'm going to bring in my buddy Thomas, who's helped me come up with this idea of a the bracket system, and the idea is like, I'll let him explain a little bit more, but like,
Thank you, guys.
yes, goodbye
Thank you,
Aziz
guys.
and goodbye Will. You can check out Aziz's music at Soul Food, and there's a
I knew you looked familiar. I've taken pictures
there's a
of you
zero
before. I
instead
knew
of
you
an
looked
O in
familiar.
Soul Food,
Yes.
and Soul Food will be performing at Surviving Fern Fest this year.
Awesome.
But Thomas is here. Thomas, you want to let everyone know about the
Hey.
bracket system?
I'm Thomas. Everybody else has like a nice title.
Legal advisor. I
You're
don't know.
just Thomas? Just Thomas.
Just disclaimer. I am an advisor is a better word. I am.
His official
technically
title is
Fern's attorney.
doubting.
Yes, I am a doubting Thomas. Yes. No, my main job consists of every time Fern sees a bright object, he's like, "Oh, let's do this," and I have to be the
Voice of
Fern.
reason?
Let's rein you in. We have a plan.
The only one in my life doing that.
No, but I seem to get the job. more
So
than most.
essentially, you're ADHD control.
Yeah,
pretty
I don't know if you guys watch football. They've got like the sideline coach who just has to pull the coaches off the field before the snap. That's basically me for Fern because he wants to be in everything. Sure. So I was a sports management major, so bracketology is like second nature to me. So Fern, season 1, I drafted up a waiver. Well, I didn't draft a waiver. I didn't do legal work. I had a waiver. I gave it to Fern, and we used
No
it.
legal work done.
Yeah. If my firm ever hears this, I don't know how they would. But yeah, I didn't do anything off book. So Fern hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I have an idea. I want to make it more interactive. We have a lot of local people out here supporting their friends. How do we make it so that they can slot and rank their choices and be invested in who goes where?" So, the difference between who finishes 12th and who finishes 8th. In the grand scheme of things, maybe you don't care. If you're having a bracket challenge with 50-something other people who submitted a bracket, you're probably going to care if you were the most accurate. So
So the players are playing for their
the player's going to
enjoyment.
play.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the audience, or whoever wants to participate,
Yep.
is also picking the winners of different brackets, much like the March Madness.
Yes.
Madness
So
is
just
an
like March
example.
Madness, before anything goes off, your bracket is locked, cocked, and ready to rock. So,
4 p.m. on Friday is the last time to submit the bracket.
Yes,
Okay.
because it starts at 6. So you've got on YouTube, I don't know if we've discussed, I don't think we did discuss, yes, that everybody's application videos in
It's
addition,
on there, yeah.
is on the YouTube in addition to all the episodes. So you can see everybody playing beforehand. You can meet them. So you watch the videos and it's essentially luck, but
Do the brackets have anything to do with the teams?
No.
no. The brackets
So
are
when I make the
a-
brackets, I'm picking individuals to not get voted off.
Correct. So you've got slot 1 through slot 16. You're essentially trying to match the participant with their finishing place. So 1 is who you think wins it all.
Oh, I
On the
see.
Google Doc, we have big capital letters. It says your Survifern Season 2 champion is. And
I
it's the
see.
number 1 slot. And then 16th is, who
So let me ask, is the scoring of the brackets cumulative in that every time one of my bracket players moves on, I get a point? Or is the object just to pick the final person?
So you get 1 point for each slot you get correct. If
Okay.
you say, I don't want to say anybody's name because I don't want to give away my projected
Bracket?
bracket.
Let's-
So
yeah.
we have a
Susie
player
is
named
also-
Wally.
Yes.
There you go,
So
Wally.
if you put Wally as the winner, you get 2 points for the winner and you get 2 points for the first eliminated. Every other spot in there, you get 1 point. So essentially, when the field is 16, if you figure out, you know what, I don't like the cut of their jib, they're the first person gone. If you get that right, you get a double point. If you get the winner right, obviously you should be rewarded. You get a double point. Everywhere from 2 to 15, you get 1 point per
So
correct.
all jibs aside,
Yes.
it's possible to win as a spectator
Yes.
without having picked the final winner of the game.
Oh,
Correct.
definitely.
Because you're going to
yeah.
accumulate points.
Yes.
So if overall you were able to get most of them,
Yeah. Last year's winner only had 5 points.
that's pretty sad.
It's
That's
hard.
how
No,
hard
it's
it is.
hard.
It's hard.
It's very
it
hard
is
with
essentially a crapshoot.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Which is why we do a lot of random brackets also. Some
Yeah.
people just want random bracket, come to the party. Other people, they study the people, they send the brackets, and then they don't even come to the event. They're like, let me know if I win or not. And the idea is to one day like partner with like a FanDuel Sports or something.
Cool.
So we have like odds going on for the entire festival. Like it's like you're at like the racetrack or something. We want to get to that point, so this is our proof of concept.
So before we go on to anything else, I want you to make sure that you say what dates this is happening, because you just said when these brackets are due. You said,
Well, they are due Friday, September 1st.
okay.
And this probably has come out after that. which is totally fine. But we do have video cameras here. So if you're watching these video cameras and I had the time to edit something, or Derek had the time to edit something, then get your brackets in. Have some fun. Play with us.
Yeah, I can get this posted for tomorrow because I don't want anyone to miss out on the brackets.
No.
Okay.
We're coming and hanging out.
That's right.
I want you
Bring
to,
in their blankets.
You frighten me a little bit.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
Yeah, I'm a little scared of you.
It's okay.
And the dates of the competition?
September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Okay.
Fun.
I think what's interesting is that they can form alliances prior to the competition.
And they have. There's been 7 preseason advantages given out because 7 people have won challenges. So the people that have been coming to that, they know who has what. We don't make it public who's won. If you were there, you were there. So like,
So some people have a little bit of an advantage before the first round because you've already
been playing.
identified the participants and they've done some things.
But that also puts a target on their back because they're playing hard. And you get into the game, and maybe you don't vote out the person that's been more aloof because they've been chilling, or like you have your whole game
It's all
figured out.
strategy.
And then you're not on the tribe with your preseason alliance member. So if you don't get put on the same tribe, does that even matter?
Would it have been easier if all of you just found wives and started families?
The word easier is never the answer with me.
No.
I normally take the harder route.
Yeah, I get that impression.
And it's because it just brings better results.
We choose what we do not because it's easy, but because it's right.
There you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the fireworks challenge.
The fireworks.
So what it works
That's
is
after we move out of Fern's
Musicians
parents'
do
backyard.
not do fireworks.
well, you have to hold a firework and they light it. And the longer you hold on to it, the more points you get.
The more
We're not
fingers
gonna
you
do
lose,
that.
the better.
We are not getting sued.
No,
That is the name.
I was just joking.
All right, so let's see if you guys can write your own brackets.
Oh
you
my
have
gosh.
16 contestants.
So essentially what you're asking us to do is rank them 1 to 16.
One
It's a
being the winner,
popularity
16
contest.
being the loser.
Well,
okay.
I already said Dano's winning.
Is that
Do you know
Dano the
anything
musician?
about
Yes, that
if
is
you know
local.
anything about Dano, that girl is
She's
driven.
tough.
Dano
She's
had
tough.
a very intense application video.
Yes,
So
she did.
good.
I
Yeah.
saw her.
The
She wakes up
application
at what,
video.
5
16 a.m. to do meditation, and she's doing
writing in her
push-ups.
And
journal,
she's right for
push-ups,
2 hours
writing
before she starts
music.
work.
Bit an onion. She just went
And she-
into the onion. It was
She
so
bites into
good.
the onion?
It's so good. So Dano came in strong. That's a very strong statement. Like, hey, I'm here to play.
Yes.
You know, she's. So I don't know if that's going to be a positive
I'm
or
going to
negative.
go with you. I've seen her perform. She's got energy.
Well, I have to say, even without that audition video, just knowing Dano, knowing of her, knowing what her process is, she's just
All right, so let's go with Dano number 1.
hard worker.
I can see your number 16 upside down, and there's no way it's going to happen. I can tell you right now, there's no way he's going to be the first eliminated.
All right, who do you think's coming in second?
Okay. I would say, well, do you want to go for
Who's
this
the
one?
bartender?
I know. I was going to say the bartender.
Bartenders have to
Kate.
put
We
up with a
actually
lot
have
of crap.
multiple bartenders.
Well, that's the only one with the word bartender next to it.
Yeah, it's well.
So is that Kate?
Kate was the one I wrote bartender down because of the way she was like. She seemed like she could handle herself well.
She's got that Tom Cruise bottle flipping
She
thing.
was like,
Yeah, and she's really big in the community. She plays kickball. She's well connected. We're very excited. Kate is the contestant that
Now-
has tried us the most. She has been texting us, asking about every loophole in the rule.
Good,
Oh, so
good,
she's
good.
prepared.
Are there any attorneys on this list?
There are not.
Okay.
Fern only has room for one attorney in his life
Are
because
there-
he hates the word no.
Are
so
there any people deep into psychotherapy that have issues with their
There's a
parents?
teacher.
90% of the
There are
applications.
2 teachers that are playing this game.
Interesting.
Right?
Well,
One teacher?
Well, Mar is a teacher. She's a music
She's a
teacher.
music
I
Mar
wrote
is a
teacher.
music
that Mar.
teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say the next one would be Mike.
I've seen
Mike,
I've never
okay.
seen Levy Oken with a shirt on. Does that mean he's tough?
Levy is only performing. His band is
Oh, I
performing.
see. Okay.
Yeah, Sean plays with him.
But his guitarist, Sean, is performing.
I don't know who his
It's,
guitar player is.
Well, Sean's the guitar player, and he's playing Survivor.
Though I am excited about seeing Jeff Linden play.
yes.
But that's
The
also
music
a
part.
band. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's a very
Yes.
talented kid.
Okay, so
Guy, man,
third in
person.
your bracket.
At this point, you could just rattle off.
anybody.
Okay.
Does that
so
say prostitute? Oh no, that says positive.
positive? But actually, I meant to say Josiah because he's
Josiah. Go
with
he's
Josiah,
very
that's good.
optimistic and very like I think that he has a good outlook.
Now is that
Fun,
Becca?
he is an out-of-towner, so he is not a local person.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a mystery.
Josiah, I'm like,
I will give away.
on.
I have Josiah first eliminated because I have not. I have been at every Survivor preseason event. I haven't seen him once. He's
come on, Josiah.
We are a very insular Asbury Park community. I think the
Okay.
final 13 are going to be the 13
Nah,
quote unquote Asbury
let's go
Park
with
people.
let's go. You know what? Because if everyone picks the favorites, and they lose, we're going to stand out.
There you go.
That's true. All you need to do is luck into like 2 random picks, and you could leap
Now,
to the
is
front
that
of the
Becca,
board.
the woman who's been here who wears the hat with the ears on it?
Probably not.
Make him number 4.
Who's
Let's
that?
go with Joe Palm for
Joe
number
Palm will be
4.
4.
Tom,
plays-
our cowbell master.
He plays mean cowbell.
Yes, he does. He's also working on his own cowbell documentary film.
The history of the cowbell?
The history of the cowbell man, who is Joe Palm.
Okay.
I love it.
Joe Palm coming in at 4th.
Now, is that Jameson like the drink?
That's his name. Yep, but he's also a local person in town. He plays kickball. in the
Let's go
Asbury
with Jameson
kickball.
number 5 because I love a good Jameson.
Big time body surfer, works for Robert Wood Johnson.
Oh, there we go.
At least he'll
How
get
about
good insurance.
You and I were looking at Amanda too. She should be number 6.
Okay,
'cause she's
that's
like
fine.
into adventure, and she was like talking
Was she the
about
one
all-
running on the beach at dawn?
She was the one like she
That was
hiked
Becca.
and
Okay.
But Amanda is really cool. Amanda's very connected to some season 1 players. So she
Real,
does a
so she
lot
may
of-
have a little inside track on
the
strategy.
season 1 players she's connected with, like, were the first 5 people out. So we don't know if she's going to like take that. Like,
Let me tell you,
first-
some teams do very poorly in spring training, and then they come on strong.
That's right.
Exactly.
Unlike the Yankees, who have a good spring training and then suck the rest of the season.
you know who else we forgot? Jake.
Jake
Jake
that's
had, like-
Thomas's brother.
That is my younger brother.
Okay, his was cool because he said he's a fan of people, but it looks like people are a fan of him.
Yeah,
a little
but
insight into
I'm a little
Jake.
worried that will be a distraction
It
for the
could be.
drinking events in the evening.
So you wanna put him-
Jake believes himself to be a golden god. If you've ever seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Jake models his personality off Dennis Reynolds.
Can't go wrong with that. Let's go with Jake.
It could go one of 2 ways at this.
Jake, I believe
I
in
think
you.
they can all go in one of 2
Jake
ways.
is your number 7. All right,
well,
number
who
8.
else?
Let's go with anyone named Becca or
Okay.
Rebecca.
We have 2 Rebeccas. Do you want to just put them 7 and 8, or 8 and 9?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
Do you want Becca or Bex at 8?
Let's go with, well, I don't know. We don't have a Bex on the
Becca
list.
or Rebecca?
Yeah, there's Rebecca is also Bex.
So let's make Bex number 8 and Becca number 9.
Bex is cool. Bex is Aziz's friend, who was saying before has done a lot of studying so far.
All right, so
okay.
okay,
And then
very
Rebecca, she was at the last year's event, and she's very connected with a lot of people too.
Good. Anyone named Ivan should be able to do well. don't you think?
Ivan's another bartender in the area.
Oh yeah,
good. Oh,
they're
so then
tough.
he's definitely going to do well.
So they'll be 9.
And then Craig Lawler.
That's your number 11?
Yes.
Desmond
Drummer of
Swagmatics.
Des and the
I have to say,
Swagsmatics.
Craig, I'm very sorry. I probably should have put you.
Oh,
up
I
on the
know
list.
him.
No, you're doing right.
Okay.
You're doing right.
Number 12 would be Mia.
Mia, she's a photographer in the area.
We should put her number 1, photographer. I
We
want
should
Sean.
We're not very
I want
tough.
Sean next.
All
Sean.
right.
Sean.
Who's Sean?
Sean is the one who plays with Levy
Oh,
and
okay.
Type Advantage.
All right, so let's go with Sean.
Sean performed at season 1.
Oh,
He did perform during season 1.
Then we have.
we have Mar, who's a music
Let's
teacher.
go with the music teacher
Okay.
for 14. That seems
All right.
reasonable.
That seems reasonable. Early vote out because you're a teacher. You hearing that, Mar? You got to play
Well,
strong.
she's concentrating on getting her classroom ready.
That's
There you
right.
go.
She's busy. So it
Um,
looks like we have Mike and Kyle left.
Okay.
Let's go with
so-
Kyle next.
Okay.
Kyle, guitarist
For the hard maybes.
And then
I
Mike.
think we've met that person at some point. And
we
then
may
Mike.
have.
Mike is someone that is not very connected. He's the person that lives the farthest away.
Syosset,
Okay.
New York.
Yeah.
All right.
Syosset?
Yeah, that too. It's
right,
New York.
Mike.
I don't
It's
care.
Long Island.
I
gotta
don't care.
represent.
It's New York.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys. For
I
being
want you to
back.
know that 2 undergraduate degrees and 2 master's degrees have finally prepared me for this moment. So I'm very excited.
Lucky picker.
So now, if I'm not mistaken, you're already planning season number 3?
We have a direction that we want to go with that. Yes.
So when would people start reaching out to you about wanting to be part of season number 3?
I think that's a great segue. We can bring the next layer of team
If
on,
that's
and
cool
we
with
can
you.
start
That's
talking about
fine,
that.
It's
Yeah.
also already happened. People have already reached out.
Wow.
More people have been interested in season 3 than season 2. Everyone keeps on telling me, "Oh, I'll apply for season 3."
Why do you think that is? Is that because there's more water sports?
Well, I think it's because a lot of people, and I'm included, they're like, "I'm not in shape. I want to like be like."
Oh
as
yeah,
in
if I was
shape as
going to get in
possible."
shape and I needed a rationale, it would be, fernicide would be
Yeah.
the reason why
Well,
I'd
you're on
lose
camera
weight.
the entire time. You're jumping in the pool and stuff. But no, season 3, there's a lot of like great ways we can take season 3. And now I'm going to bring in both Lauren and Derek here. Lauren's been helping me create our season 3 kind of pitch deck. And Derek's our videographer for season 1, season 2. And yeah, let them take it away.
So you said her name is Lori?
Lauren.
Lauren, can we first ask, you do spend some time with the foes of friends of Fern.
Just a little bit.
Is
yeah.
he like this all of the time?
Yeah.
That's nice.
It is
Do you
nice.
drink Red Bull?
No, I drink no caffeine.
No
I was going to
caffeine.
say, I don't think he
Yeah.
needs any catalyst.
Yeah, we're good.
It's a very interesting life.
I'm sure. Can I ask, does he have a jazz master?
I don't
I have
know
a
what that
Mustang.
means.
I have a Mustang, which is the intonation's awful on it.
You know, it's a great guitar for when you're older because it's 3/4 size, so it's a little easier to play. I just don't find it's got the tone of a full-size guitar. It's a little twangy for me. Though I did
my
own
head.
one years ago,
You're over
and
my
that,
head on
that
that
ran
one.
my guitar synthesizer because I love Adrian Belew.
I take
But that
pictures,
aside.
but I don't know if they work.
I just nod when the music stuff
yeah.
happens.
What is the Fern's favorite food?
Sushi.
Oh, there you
He
go.
loves sushi.
All right, so tell us about season 3. What's going
Season
on?
3 is my podcast, Sushi with Fern, which is available on Facebook. If you are interested in checking it out. My past projects include Sushi with Fern and Cliffcast, America's only podcast about Cliff Bars.
I like a good Cliff Bar.
Do you really?
I keep them
Derek,
next to
this
the
must
bed.
be quite the challenge to video.
It is.
What is your strategy? And you can move that microphone.
I think
Okay.
he's just going to put up a
What-
lot of cameras with wide-angle lenses.
Yeah, seriously. Like, what? How do you handle this?
So last year was crazy because for last year it was just it was run and gun. And we didn't really know what was going on. We had
Well,
no
it's the
clue what we were
first.
doing.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah, well,
Gotta learn.
this year we had, as we were discussing before, like Will and John wrote out the challenges. So actually we're going to work on a little after this. I got to start over the weekend, but we're pretty much coming with like a shot list. So like, okay, so we know like part A of this challenge is happening in this part of the yard. This is what they're doing. Okay, so like say like the first challenge is like, okay, on one side of the yard there's questions. On the other side of the yard there's answers. So basically I'm going to have like one static camera on each side looking down, and then I'm gonna be having a handheld. There will be somebody else running with a handheld camera, and like we'll pretty much be filming like little bits where like, okay, so I'm watching this person like they're reading the question, and then on the other side they're writing their answer to the question, and like we're kind of following them around, and we're just kind of getting enough, I guess, to fill out a few minutes for the episode.
Right, right. And do you have help, or are you doing this on your own?
Yes, we have like a lot of help.
I was going to say, I can't even imagine covering all that.
Even if you just have a 2-camera shoot between the events, the bands, and the confessionals, you must come out with about 1,500 hours worth of content to edit down
So
to
much.
something digestible. Can the contestants wear GoPro cameras to get like as it happens to them, and you could edit that in?
Well, as Fern previously mentioned, if we just had $25,000,
Low price of
$25,000.
you can produce your own season of Survivor.
Yeah, it'd be great if we had the budget for something like that, but pretty much I think what I want to get for as far as like all the video is just whatever we can get. So like it's like, okay, so we're in between challenges, so like we know we want to film a couple songs from the band, and then we know like I'll be setting up for like, let's say, the next challenge or the tribal, and then people at camp, we have 3 production members, so 2 will have cameras, 1 will be filming like between 1 and 3 confessionals, the other one will be filming like just general camp life, and then I think between all that and just getting the whole structure of everything, we'll have everything we need.
So essentially, we have 18 participants. 16. So you'd pretty much have to have at least 14 tribal councils, right? How does that work?
Pretty much. I'm not going to well, actually, it's fine. There's once we get to 3 players in the game, then we vote.
Okay.
So we're going to have 16 minus 3, 13 tribal councils.
Oh, I was pretty close on my guess.
Yeah.
And then at the end, who picks the winner?
Similar to Survivor,
Okay.
Our current strategy is the people that are voted out, they get to win. They pick the winner. They vote on it.
So alliance is made hours earlier.
Yeah.
Or days earlier.
Months earlier.
Months
too.
could actually come back and bite you in the arse because
yeah.
someone may be mad at you.
If you watch our season 1, there was a little bit of that in the final tribal.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, in season 1 of Survivor, the fella who won
Was the villain.
but he walked naked on the beach. As
No
part
one
of the
walks
celebration.
naked
There'll
at
be no
Survivor.
naked beach walking.
No.
Okay, just
No,
making
it's my
sure.
parents' house. Please respect my parents' house.
So I have a question for you. So if relationships are either strengthened or maybe weakened through Survive Fern Fest, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like the show is becoming what you want it to be, something that kind of like creates this type of drama, for lack of a better word? That's real TV,
I
right?
want good content. I think everyone here, we want good content. We want it to be fun and enjoyable. I don't love if like people take the game so seriously that afterwards there's like your relationships are kind of hurt.
So
that
if they get voted out, they're not going to. You don't want them to blow a gasket because they didn't get access to $500,000.
Well,
this is fun.
It's fun,
but
yeah.
the honor is to win.
The honor is to win, yeah. And we are working on a prize for the winner, and we are going to donate some money to the winner's choosing nonprofit. But no, so that did happen a little bit in season 1, and I'm actually not thrilled about that. It is our goal for the future of this to make it more community-based and make it more like telling the story of the people that are playing, telling the story of the different venues in town, the music. We could do trivia questions on
So you'd have like
Asbury
these
Park
sort of
history.
video side vignettes of like where this person came from or the history of your
I call that
parents'
episode
house.
0. Episode 0 for season 3. We'll hopefully be digging into that some more.
Will we meet your parents anytime?
If you want to, if you come to the event, you'll meet our
Okay,
parents. Yeah.
Now, are there other ferns of friends of foe that you're related to? Or did your
Wait, let me
parents have
just-
other ferns?
I just have to interject here. So he has trouble with the foes of
I
Fern.
can't say it right.
He kind of forgets what the order. So whenever we're talking about, like, if I say, we're going to have Fern come and do this podcast, basically he's like, well, when are the friends of foes of Fern coming?
There's a lot of F's in there.
So
They're here
this
right
is
now.
why he's addressing you.
Now,
this
are there
way.
other ferns out there, like brothers and sisters?
I have an uncle who is the Fern of our family.
Okay.
Because our last name is Fernicola, so...
So you're an only fern with your parents?
My dad's a Fern. My cousins are Ferns. Like, we're just all big family of Ferns. But there's one Fernie.
Okay.
And he is like I would say the patriarch of the family.
So when you're at a fern bar mitzvah kind of
We
thing...
don't call each other Fern. No.
But I mean, do relatives come up to you and ask what's wrong?
They ask me when I'm gonna get a
Or
job.
like why? Why?
Sounds like you have an awful lot
Well,
of
yeah,
jobs.
I mean, you have a
no,
full-time
because
job.
like my uncle Chris is an incredibly creative person. He is like a exterior interior decorator, and he's like decorated the Monmouth Mall for years in Pier Village. It's been in our family. I have like a cousin who was the bass player for Tijuana Brass.
Really?
Yeah, his name's Pat Senator. Yeah, so it's just this craziness has been in our family for a while.
So they're used to this.
Yeah, I have like a great uncle who was a band leader, and he would like lead like a 14-piece band, and my uncle Fernie is a saxophone player, his sister is a piano player, and his brother Frankie is a bass player. So like it's just there.
They have a lot of
Very
creativity
cool.
in that family for sure.
Yes.
And Lauren, so now what is your role in Survifern Fest 2 or 3? Season 2 or 3?
Want to tell about your season 1 role first?
I think the season 1 role is a good place to start.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us.
Well, I think it starts with too much encouragement and making a fever dream happen, and spending a summer planning and thinking about it and leading up to it, and then getting very, very, very sick with COVID. And it was a last-second idea to do a live stream so that I could watch what was happening while I was at home in bed.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It was very sweet.
I wouldn't have got through season 1 without Lauren. Lauren was the only person telling me to do it in my
Okay.
life. Like everyone was like, "Dude, what are you doing? Can you just focus on
some
other
might
things?"
suggest that was for a good reason, but you
Some
beat them
might,
out.
but I would heavily disagree.
I hear
It
you.
wouldn't have happened without Lauren's encouragement. And then when she got COVID, I was like, "Well, you
And-
can't come to the party."
And her parents don't mind you doing this?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. No. Yeah, so it was really filmed to the extent that it was because I was sick in bed, and it was live streamed, and then Derek swooped in and did a bunch of filming as well, and that turned into not seeing Fern for 10 months while he edited the season 1, which is great. And now I get to experience it for the first time, season 2, and then my background is in business, and I also support crazy people for a living, so I do it in my personal life too. So my role in season 3 is helping to try to pitch this and get a 25K or maybe more, so that we can build it into something bigger.
Do you have any identified sponsors now, or is that something you might be interested in moving forward?
I'm not sure if sponsorship is the right route necessarily. It's more like a production deal we would look at, or distribution deal. It really depends on how it shakes out. I mean, I wouldn't want to commit to anything right now.
Sure.
Of course.
I could see Red Bull sending you some money, and I'm sure you would take it.
That would
You're
be
not
cool.
the first one to bring up Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to come back to you because you fascinate me, Fern. When people are constantly telling you no or why or give it up, what do you feel inside, and how do you respond to that? Because you are so passionate, and I feel like the greats have to be that way. What's driving you?
He also used that word, and we've heard this from a lot of musicians. He has a vision of what the final product is going to look like.
I wanted to comment on that in just a minute.
Well, okay, so when you go to the vision, like that vision of the final product, it's never that vision. Like there's always the Goldilocks that you're seeing, and then when you're in the weeds, when you're doing it, like things change and it moves and it lets you shift that vision. And I'm a very big believer in you don't need the answers to start. And that is huge for creative people. A lot of people tell me, well, I can't play your open mic. I don't have a full set yet. I'm like, do you have one song? They're like, well, yeah, I have one song. Well, then why don't you just play that one song, you know? But for some people, they need to have every answer before they can move forward. And like a big problem with our season, I don't have the name for this show. Survifern can't be the name for this show. I understand that completely. It's just the name that I have. So like one day I'll get the new name, but that's not going to stop me from doing this. Why would the silly fact of not having the right name? I have all these fantastic people that are like pushing me to do this. Like, let's do it, you know? So there's that aspect. There's the aspect of figuring it out while you're doing it, and I learned that from George R.R. Martin, the writer of Game of Thrones, even though he hasn't finished Game of Thrones. I can't curse on here, but furious at George R.R. Martin. But he calls himself a gardener. He'll let an idea happen in his first book, and then he'll let that idea grow and sprout and like move other places. So I very much learned from that.
To Diane's question, a majority of people have said, this is silliness, don't do it.
You mentioned that a few times. So I'm
Yes.
wondering, like, what drives you?
There's a couple different routes with that. One, it's, well, who are those people? And sometimes they're your inner circle. And then if it's enough no, then I have to kind of just turn a blind eye to all their opinions and all their comments. Like there's some friends in my life that I just didn't speak to this year because they were like, hey, I'll hang out with you, but like, please don't edit Survifern while we hang out, which I respect. But I can't hang out with you then. If those were the rules, like I want to get this done. Like, hey, I want to hang out with you, but I really just, please don't talk about Survifern. And I'm like, that's fine, but I need to be in a space to let this idea grow if I want to do it. So those people I had to turn a blind eye to, and I owe some phone calls, and I'll get to that. I have my list. There's also the inner circle that's too inner circle, and you have to not turn a blind eye, but take the criticism, figure out why they're saying no, and like learn from it. A lot of people were just, you can't have a music festival and a reality show at the same time. And that just didn't, like, why? Like don't tell me I can't do something without weight to it.
Right.
Like if you give me a good enough reason, if the why's like, you're going to hurt too many people, it's like, okay, then I can't do that. But like, if I make sure no one burns down my parents' house, and like I make sure nobody actually gets hurt during the challenges, then why can't I?
Well, if it hasn't existed yet and you're doing it for the first time, doesn't that make you a first?
Well, that's what I try to explain
Which is
to
kind
people.
of cool.
But I also come off crazy for that. But like, so that's really it. Like you have to turn a blind eye to the negativity when it's happening, and you also have to let it back in those people when you're ready to. So I have some phone calls to make.
And again, that vision, like you had, you said, Doug, and
But that's a sort of a common theme that we hear from a lot of the musicians, of that there's a lot of naysayers, but people have this idea. It's a vision. What they finish with may not be the vision that they initially had, but there's
it drives
there's
you.
a drive
That's
in
where
there
you're going towards.
that if he didn't do it, he'd sort of feel sad that he didn't try.
Oh yeah, you got to try. And just if anyone's listening and you are a creative person, like don't handcuff yourself to ideas. Like I've said a lot of things to my crew, and then like 2 weeks later they're like, well, didn't you say this? And I'm like, I did, but you got to allow it to grow. Now, it also could be a detriment because that means you're not moving forward enough. You have to be able to like mitigate that and be like, okay, I'm changing too much and we're not moving forward. And like what helps is having a huge crew. Like in this podcast today, there's 5 other people here that have made things happen. Like Lauren's making the pitch deck happen.
Yep.
Derek is making the video happen. I don't have to worry too much. Will is making the challenges happen. Aziz is doing audio, video, and he's performing this year. And he competed in season 1. And then Thomas is helping me figure out this bracket thing.
Sure.
And there's the 5 people that are here. There's still like 20 other people that are working on
Yeah,
this.
you have a lot of people saying yes too.
I have a lot of people
Yes.
saying yes.
Yeah.
Because you know what? He doesn't see things as problems.
No, I
He
know.
sees them as opportunities
Yeah.
for solutions.
Challenges.
Everything is a possibility. Everything is an opportunity. And like that's like this year my release show got rained out on the rooftop.
Yeah.
But that was an opportunity to have another type of event, and we had a beautiful day at Wild Air Brewing because of that.
It looked like you had a huge crowd there.
Yeah, last year Zeke Dental Jam got rained out, but when it got rained out, it got put on the same day as Porch Fest. And now this year, Red Bank Porch Fest and Zeke Dental Jam, which is an event that I do, it's in collaboration now. I just had a meeting with the town of Red Bank. So if I told myself, oh, rained out, doesn't matter, then I wouldn't be in the spot where I am now.
Right.
Every single thing is an opportunity, but you have to realize what it is an opportunity for. You might lose what you originally had, but you don't know what you'll gain until you allow yourself to gain it.
So now vision-wise, we talked about past, we talked about present, which is about to happen with season 2. Future, like what is your vision for how this is going to, and I know you kind of like hinted a little bit too, but what is the ultimate goal? What is your end game? What is the vision you wish you could achieve?
I just really want Asbury Park's first reality TV show to be a thing. So like for me, that's just encompassing the town more, if possible. Like that's currently the goal, but like how do we do that? I have to have real conversations with the town of Asbury. I have to have real conversations with my team right here. Like, yo, Derek, what can we actually do? Like I have like 4 different avenues we might go. I'm not gonna just like spew it out now.
Right.
But like the idea is to encompass more of Asbury, have more partnerships with local Asbury Park businesses, local Asbury Park musicians, like
The venues,
everything.
things, yeah.
I want the entire town to be a circus. I want it to be a carnival. And at the end of this carnival, we crown one winner. That's just so much fun to me.
Yeah, that's something.
King and Queen of Asbury.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would
we
do
could
that.
get a name for the show from that.
Going to
King
work
and
on
Queen.
that.
We need to figure out the name.
It'll come.
I guess Fernicide is right out.
First.
Hey, everybody, we've been here for over an hour now.
Yes, we have.
Talking about this huge musical, non-musical event. I invite you guys, make sure you share the link so we can put that in the show notes.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm a relatively sedentary person, but I may go check this out. if only because I want to find out what kind of seashell soaps the Fernicolas have in their bathroom. I bet you there's a little bowl with seashell.
You'd be
soaps.
right. Yeah.
I know things.
Awesome. Yeah, just thank you guys for having
No,
me.
it's always a
it's a
pleasure having you.
pleasure.
You never cease to wake us up and make us wonder if we should have leaned
What's
forward
next?
a little bit more for what's next.
What's next, hopefully, is season 3, and then there's also all the like dope content that everyone's working on associated with the project. Like Derek's our videographer; he also has his own music that he's working on.
Yes.
And like Aziz working on his music. Will's writing a book right now.
Oh, wow.
Lauren works for this company that does like VR, and they're working on their own games.
That's
so
cool.
It's like everyone associated with the project is doing their thing, and like it's.
Thomas is out practicing
on his
law
phone.
after this.
Some are
Thomas is organizing the
very-
greatest kickball league in Asbury Park constantly. Asbury Park's only
I
kickball
want to play
league.
kickball.
You know why I
Tuesday
won't
night.
do the
Tomorrow,
kickball?
actually.
Really?
I always got picked last for kickball because I'm a dork. I would be crushed if, as an adult, I went.
And you were picked last?
Not only that, but the two teams were like fighting over who didn't want me. Because if you're last, look, there was a kid named Darren who had an issue between his fingers and his nose. And in 4th grade, he got picked before me for kickball. And I got to tell you, truthfully, being the catcher on a kickball team, dullest position on the planet. But you do have to yell no spinners to the pitcher.
It's so bad that in Thomas's like kickball league that he plays in and like helps organize, like there's 30 players on each team and there's no catcher. They would have 13 outfielders
nobody
before a
wants a catcher.
catcher.
Is there plugging in this league?
I mean, Thomas, you want to tell him about the Asbury Park kickball league?
Just real quick, just as a sidelight, because no plugging below the shoulders. Oh, it's no plugging above the shoulders.
Pegging.
Pegging.
Well, that has a different connotation, so I'm a little nervous.
We make a joke about that.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
sure you
rules.
did.
Yes, there is pegging. Every Tuesday, 6 to 8, first week of May to last week of October. Up
Sounds
Bradley
like
Park.
fun.
And if you showed up, you would be a captain.
Do you use the official red
Yes, we do.
ball from
Yep.
kickball?
Yes, we do.
You know, that's got
red
there's
ball.
certain smells.
I know. And that's one of them.
The
Crayola,
sound
Yep.
Crayola,
Yep.
Play-Doh,
Play-Doh.
and the smell of a fresh kickball.
Yeah.
and gasoline.
That's true. Hey, guys, thanks for stopping in. Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much, everyone.
You'll give us notes so we can put stuff up there. And truthfully, best of luck. I
Yes.
want this to be successful.
Sounds
if
like
only
it's going to
because,
be.
well, you know what? I think the Friends of Foes of Fern have a pretty big goat tail. They have a goat tail. I'd like to ride their goat tail
You can ride our goat
along
tails.
to fame. And then if I could just get a jazz master,
There you go.
then I would
Maybe
I'd
our
play on
bracket will
stage.
win, and somehow that'll
Yes.
happen. Who knows?
Well, I'd have to split the money with you. So you have a nicer car than me, so I'm keeping the whole money. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning
thank
in.
you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that's the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Season 2 is on its way. It's coming out soon. If you haven't seen Season 1, you can check it out. Thank you to AP Vibes for having us, as always. This place rules. Thank you to the Asbury Park community. We'd be nothing without you. And we'll see you when we film Season 4. If you're watching and you want to come, tickets go on sale soon.